welcome along to the Sports Express Show. Compliments of the new year. A very, very happy new year to you. Thank you so much for joining us this year. For the first time this year, Sanele, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to you too. No, we're back, guys.
Yeah,
It feels good.
Of course, throughout the festive season, we obviously had a lot of cricket to watch.
Yes.
The Proteas were back in action. The cricket season is well and truly underway.
Yes.
So we're always happy about that.
We're always happy. At least we had some action to watch during the festive season, so there's no complaints on our side. Yeah.
Sri Lanka
Yeah.
in South Africa won the series of a complete whitewash. It was only 2 test matches.
Yes.
Right? And we won the first one by an innings and 45 runs.
Correct.
And the second one by 10 wickets. Quite a dominating performance by the Proteas, given the fact that we've been so poor in recent times, but also looking at the quality of the opposition, wasn't really the best. Sri Lanka had a lot of injuries.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, a really, really good win for us.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
Statistically, if you look at the numbers, great win, right? But if you actually watch the match, look, I mean, the first test, of course nobody's going to remember this, but the first test, I mean, Sri Lanka had about 5 injuries, so they were just limping left, right and center. So obviously that played a big role in our win in that innings matchup. And in that first innings, obviously Faf du Plessis scoring that mammoth 199, coming one short of his that 200 mark. But to be honest, both teams in the first test, that is, started off poor, especially the bowling. It was poor, but I mean, look, it was at some stage it became really competitive where Sri Lanka was dominating on the first day, but we wrapped it up the second day and things just kicked on in the first test match. And like you say, at the end of the day, we won it by an innings plus. And looking at this one, I think the picture isn't so great if you look at the actual performances and you look at the actual individuals at play. But we won by 10 wickets, and like I say, statistically, so by numbers, it was a dominant performance. But if you took a closer look, son, I'm not really impressed.
Arguably one of the shortest test matches we've had in recent times, specifically here in South Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, the first test went to day 4 and the second one ended up at day 3, which is something that's really unheard of.
Yeah, it's actually very blitz, because we're talking about, okay, the first test, obviously we were so dominant that we didn't need to go out a second time to bat. I get that. But this one, I mean, both innings were done within the third day. That was blitz. Usually when a test match ends early, it's because there was a dominant first inning performance, like the first test. That's usually the case. But for both teams to be in by the second day, the first innings to be done for both of them by the second day, that was blitz. And both of them to have done both innings by the third day, and for the test match to be wrapped up on the third day, son, that was quick.
Very, very quick.
That was quick. They played like a team who had a train to catch somewhere else. So,
Is that a testament to the good bowling attack from both sides? Or was it also a deficiency in terms of the batting as well?
I think it's both. I don't want to lie to you.
A combination.
It was a combination, because if you look at it, if you look at the test match, like I said, it's the bowling started off poorly. That's why in the first test match, Sri Lanka could post such a dominant scoreline in the first day. It was poor. But at the same time, there was poor as well. That's why Faf could score 199. So, and okay, we can include the injuries as well. But if you look at both test matches, you would find that the batsmen weren't up to the standard that they should have been. Both sides. I mean, the captain coming through for Sri Lanka, I mean, he's been solid, but besides him, who else was there? And you find that in the situation like yesterday, where it was him and Dikwela, I mean, all they had to do, just for example, all they had to do was bat the whole day.
They gave away the wickets.
And they gave them away.
Threw them away,
And the captain, great stuff, he got a century, but if you look at his dismissal, it was weak. And then Dikwela. Dikwela, he was the main man thereafter. You know, okay, captain has done the job, he got a century, fine. But Dikwela was the one who was supposed to stay in the ship. Exactly. And he just pissed it away. He's like, me, yeah, take my wicket. And so it is, like I say, it is that combination of bad bowling initially, well, good bowling. It started off bad, then it became good. But the batting, you know, there were good patches, but overall, let's be honest, everybody pissed away their wickets.
Right, key performers in the series. Like,
Yeah.
let's look at both of them. Obviously, you and I have always talked about Faf du Plessis.
Yes.
And how, well,
Oh.
basically, his age now,
Yeah.
he's seemingly not at his best.
Yes.
Even though he got his 199,
Yes.
which was very, very impressive,
Yeah.
highlighting his importance as well in
Yes.
the team
Yes.
and his experience in the team. He was arguably the best player in the first test.
Yes.
You know, it was
Arguably,
very,
easy.
very easily the best
Easy,
test.
yeah.
But the likes of Dean Elgar as well, putting
Dean-
in a shift in both test matches.
I mean, didn't,
He was
Dean,
the player of the series, I think.
Dean Elgar is the sort of person that unfortunately will never be remembered. But he's,
What do you mean he'll never be remembered?
I mean, he's one of those situations. If you look at the legends of South African
Well,
cricket,
obviously compared to the legends, but I think he's putting up good shit.
what I'm saying is that he's Mr. Consistent, right? Even when he is not performing well, he'll give you a good performance.
He's a good opener.
Maybe not up to the statures of hundreds and double hundreds, but if he's out of form, he'll give you a solid 50, he'll give you a solid 60, 70, right?
Yeah.
He's Mr. Consistent, and he put in a shift the series, you know, in the first test
Very
and the second
impressive,
test.
very
Very impressive. And another one we have to give a big ups to is Faf du Plessis.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, I slaughter Faf. I slaughter and him, but this was a series I was like, you know what, okay. Like he gave me humble pie to eat and I ate it. I mean, big ups to Faf. I mean, to reach 199 and unfortunately to go out like that, I mean, that's heartbreaking. I was rooting for the man to get to the double century.
Yeah.
But going back to your question, I mean, players who stood out for me personally is Dean Elgar and Usipamla as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
going to the bowlers.
Yes.
Going to the bowlers.
Going to the bowlers, it has to be Usipamla for me, and there'll be other standout bowlers, but for me more so him,
His
because
first, his debut as well.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was under pressure.
He was under pressure. He started poorly. Yo, he was shocking, Usipamla. But he tightened the ship,
Came
and,
back.
and that shows you his mentality that he got it back, and he had good. He corrected his line and his length, and he started getting the guys up. So for me, big ups to Usipamla from the bowling section, and there's a lot more. But
Ian
for me-
Mulder as well.
Yes, Mulder stood out perfectly.
very
I mean,
good.
you can see that he's a great prospect for the future. You can
Yeah.
see that he is our all-rounder, a person that he looks solid in batting and he looks very solid in bowling as well. So, we haven't had an all-rounder since Shakalis, the legend that he is, but obviously that will be tough shoes to fill. We're not saying that he must fill those shoes, but I mean, we haven't had an all-rounder since that time. He's a great prospect. I'm very excited about him. I think moving forward, he should be, he should be given a chance to prove himself. So yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see too much of him in terms of his batting side.
Yes.
But definitely was very impressive with his bowling.
Very.
Also going back to Usipamla,
Yes.
you know, he didn't start well as you mentioned,
Yeah.
but he did get his wickets, of course.
Yes,
And the nice thing is that he did it in both test matches.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
and he was very, very consistent, and also just dealing with the tail in the second test, which is something that South Africa have really struggled with in recent times.
Yes, it is a struggle, especially if you talk about the tail in test match. I mean, let's be honest, the tail is one of the most frustrating parts of,
Especially for us.
especially
Yeah.
for us when we're facing them, because they look to frustrate you.
Yeah.
They look to frustrate you and make you want. They force you to make mistakes. And let's be honest, like you said, it has not been our strongest point when it comes up to wrapping up the tail end. But I mean, we did it, and Usipamla did it as well. So for me, considering where Usipamla started, where it was shaky, and I mean, there were question marks over him. He was under pressure. The way he answered, son, that's championship mentality.
Absolutely, definitely. Of course, shout out to Lungingiti as well.
Yes.
He's been a bit inconsistent, but he did put in a good shift in the test
No,
match.
no, definitely.
Do you have any misses? Those were the hits. Are there any misses, my son? Looking at the fact that we're
Son.
going to the Pakistan tour,
Son.
are we dropping any players from the
We
current squad?
should be dropping the top 6, my son. Goodness gracious. Okay.
Which top 6 are you talking about?
Let, on a serious note,
Yeah.
Aiden Markram. Aiden Markram has not performed for South Africa. There was a period earlier on where he was a prospect. Let's be honest, the man is not a prospect anymore. I mean, he's been chosen to do a job.
But
and
you
he's
drop him for the Pakistan tour?
I drop him.
And who do you replace him with?
That's the challenging part. there's a slew of South African batsmen
But do
around
we
the
take
country.
that risk in Pakistan to bring in a young player. That we had this tour to do that, the Sri Lankan tour.
But we didn't do it, and it
Yeah.
didn't convert. Yes, we do it.
Well, we did get a few injuries as well, which was unfortunate.
That is the unfortunate part.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, guys getting they were supposed to get their debuts.
That would
but
be a bold move though to drop Marcus.
look, I mean, we have no other choice. We have like what other choice we have? And if he goes to Pakistan and gets like double digits, like a 10 and 11 in both innings, then what? Then the pressure, he's been given the chance. Another miss for me, and it breaks my heart.
No, don't say it. I know who you're gonna say.
It breaks my heart, son. It's a Temba, man. Temba Bafu.
Temba Bafu.
No. Like, he was a pure miss for me. I don't want to talk about that.
He had a bad series.
He's had a bad series, son. My problem. We're not going to talk about his dismissal where he just decided to just take a walk. Yeah, just take a walk. Yeah, here's my work in Sri Lanka. Let me just walk. We're not going to talk about that. But let's be honest. Utemba is a specialist batsman. He's on the side because of his batting abilities. Son, he only has 1 century in 40 plus test matches. That's all. He got in there, like I said to you over the phone, he got in there with a full head of hair. And he has 1 century. 1 century. Look, obviously he's going to be hard on himself. There's no need for us to be hard on him. He's an athlete, for goodness sake. But he needs to put in a shift. And for me, personally, we've given him the opportunities.
Giving him leeway.
We've given him, your son, we've given him so much leeway, and he's just not converting. He's just not converting. So for me, he's a miss. I honestly, drop him. Another person that I feel has not
Another bold move, drop him for the Pakistan.
Drop him. What else do we have? Drop them. It's like right now, you're at the point of...
It's a hard thing though, Sanele, because you know what the guys are capable of.
Of course.
And you know that in important games, you know that they have the ability to turn up, even though they haven't been doing it.
But we cannot work on promises anymore because we've given them so many opportunities to convert that promise.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, another person who hasn't been on form, let's be honest, is the captain. De Kock has not put in a shift ever since as captain. He has not been hitting the same numbers as he was.
To be fair, he doesn't like the captaincy for the test match.
No, he doesn't, Shem. So I feel that he should reevaluate his captaincy in the test format and possibly give it to somebody else so that he can refocus on his batting, because much like De Kock and much like Umakra, much like Utemba, he always shows promise. Always. Like when he gets in, you're thinking, okay, now put a shoe. And then he hits a few luxurious shots, hits nice shots.
Then gives it away.
And then gives it away. Yeah. So that's the story, that's the narrative with De Kock. I feel that with him, he's, at the moment, I think he's just above the other two that I've just mentioned. He's not going to get dropped, right? Do I feel that he should get dropped? No, but I do feel that captaincy should be reevaluated so he can get back to the heights that we know he can get.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the Pakistan tour will be happening towards the end of this month. So we're looking forward to the cricket, man. It's been really great to watch, and the fact that the guys are going to be going away. Tough conditions in Asia, as it always is. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Let me tell you something. Because we're going to Pakistan, everything is on level playing ground. Genuinely speaking, Pakistan have the opportunity to absolutely slaughter us because of the
Which
conditions.
they won't.
Hopefully they won't. You say it with such confidence, son. Hopefully they won't. So they have the opportunity to absolutely slaughter us. I mean, looking at our bowling as well, we need to sort that out. We need to pick more spinners as well. Shamsi needs to come through. Keshav needs to come through. So we need to tweak a few things here and there. And the other question marks as well. Do we bring in KG for that test match? Who do we drop in that case then if it comes in? If Shamsi comes in, if Keshav comes in, if KG comes in, who do we drop there? Because let's be honest, out of the two sectors that we can blame, which is batting and bowling, I mean, bowling was solid.
Yeah,
so
it was a proper side.
So who then do we drop in the bowling? If these three come in, which they have to because of the condition standard, but then who do we drop?
Sure. Questions for Mark Boucher, questions for the selectors in CSA, so we're going to see how they're going to do it.
Look, I mean, they have to answer them. Anyway, on that note, guys, thank you for tuning in. Happy bloody New Year. Stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.